Hello, everyone, and welcome back to an episode of the Boropolis podcast. We are joined today not with Chris, my usual partner, but Louis Roberts, who I go to university with, who is from the Tilehurst stand. So, Louis, how are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So, big game this weekend, Sky Sports on the Saturday,
Yeah,
the early kickoff. Reading against Boro, two sides. One, you're the biggest Reading fan I know by a mile, and I think I'll probably be the biggest Boro fan you know as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um,
Don't know any.
so we'll just firstly talk about Reading's start to the season. So 10 points earned so far from 8 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 4 defeats. It's a relatively okay start given circumstances. But what
Yeah.
have you and other Reading fans thought of your start to the season?
So coming into the season, we obviously had the embargo. It made it difficult for us. Couldn't bring in players that we probably like. The owner likes to spend, so he would have liked to spend his way to the Premier League. But the first 5 games, they were poor, bar Preston. We started out at Stoke. We were okay. We had only 5 subs, but we gave them a game and we conceded late on. Preston were good. Zhao up front was key. He linked everything. That was our best game. Bristol City, poor. Same with Cov. And then Huddersfield, the less said about that, the better, because that was really dreadful.
Yeah, I remember getting a text from you that day. You were there, of course, and I knew that you wouldn't be happy with that at all.
It was dreadful. First went in and we just capitulated, and they were just absolutely awful. But past 3 we've picked up, and we're playing better stuff. And defensively, whilst we're still conceding goals, they're much better at the back. And obviously the injuries don't help, which is a very long list. But this past week is key, has been key. And them 7 points that we picked up could be massive, especially with the points deduction looming potentially.
Yeah. So this week, I think it's been a bit of a rough week, considering how good it had been for you lot with the results. And of course, last week, especially with a 2-1 win away at Fulham. But a points deduction looming this week from the EFL for financial fair play. I think it's been a very rough sort of summer for Reading. I think I've just got here, finished 7th last season, which kind of leads many people who don't have that much context to think that you'd build on that and look to try and get promoted. But the loss of Elise to Palace, Richards to Bayern have been huge, of course. And then, of course, the embargo and now a points deduction. It's kind of crazy, really. What does the start to the season kind of match up with Reading fans' expectations going in?
I would say expectations going into it was that we were kind of low. I don't think anybody was expecting playoffs. We'd lost Elise, who had brought in 7 goals, 12 assists, had his qualities about him. Richards was a quality player. And the fact you couldn't replace them with quality, well, you'd struggle to find free agents, loan players that have a similar quality. But the start, I'd suppose it would match up. We were probably looking at a mid-table, maybe scrapping at the bottom of the league. But I'd say it matches with how you would expect.
Yeah, I'd say so as well, really. But I'd say that there is quality undoubtedly there with the likes of Zhao and Mate. But of course, those players are injured at the minute, which is...
You've got 30 goals missing between them alone. Something ridiculous like that.
And obviously, those two especially played quite a big part last season with Zhao. He got nearly 20, didn't he, last season?
Yeah. I think he got 19 with 7 assists or something like that.
Yeah, so
He's key.
taking those numbers out of this side at the moment, it leads now fans to believe, with that context, that maybe falling down the table slightly is quite a possibility. But with a points deduction added on top of that, it is kind of a strange one, but it hasn't been implemented yet. So we'll
no, it's been coming though. We've had years of overspending. We had that year under Gomez where we were under a soft embargo the whole summer. And then last few days we brought in Raphael from Napoli, Pele from Monaco, Puskas, who wasn't cheap, João wasn't cheap. So, and we brought in a João as well.
Yeah, I think the Reading have kind of fallen into the trap of a lot of championship clubs over the years, where they try and gamble on getting at the Premier League, and it hasn't worked out this time. But I'll be sure that you, Reading especially, will be much more okay than Derby and Wednesday and the rest.
Hopefully, it should be fine though. It's not a lack of money; it's just not using the money correctly. The owner said he wants the Premier League, so he said he was going to do whatever to try and get there. So,
of course, and I think a rebuild probably will be better to sort of change the ideology almost of you can't just spend and get success. So anyway, a half decent start to the season for Reading. I think, well, already you're above Middlesbrough, which is always a positive. But I'd just like to talk about the two games last season. I think me and you only really knew each other from last year going to university. But the first game, Boro 0, Reading 0, a bit of a quiet game. Reading run a fantastic run at the time, and I think Boro were the first side to take a point off Reading, I think.
Yeah, you were the first side to take points off us because we'd won our opening 4 before that. And we looked formidable at the back. We were clinical going forward, but not the same this season so far.
Neil Warnock sides just tend to shut out some of the best attacking sides in the division, which is a bit strange because we can't really shut out the less potent sides in the division. Yeah. But moving on from that game, the other one was Reading 0, Boro 2, and this was a bit of a strange one. I think you kind of expected that you'd lose this game, and I kind of expected that we'd lose the game as well.
I thought we'd lose beforehand. I think I said to you, we're going to lose today. I don't know what, but Boro are like a bogey side for us, especially in recent years. I don't think we've won against you lot in 9, something ridiculous like that. So a bit of a bogey side at the minute. Yeah,
so there you go, Boro fans. That's a fantastic fact for you lot. Boro unbeaten since, I think it's the 15-16 season against Reading, which is a long time ago now since Boro got promoted in that season. So hopefully that continues Saturday, but we'll see.
Hopefully not, but
we'll see. I'd just like to move on now and go back to Reading's start to the season and pick out some key men from that Reading squad. And I think the obvious one is, of course, Swift. John Swift, 7 goals, 4 assists so far this season. Top scorer in the division. Fantastic set piece and dead ball taker. And I've just got down possibly taking over from João and Mate while they're out injured with the goals.
Yeah, I think the key thing with this summer, we lost Elise, who in that kind of central role and out wide, he brought a lot of goal contributions, 19 in total. And with players like Ajaria and Swift was pretty much injured the whole of last season. And Ajaria, his numbers aren't at a similar level. And especially now with João and Mate out, we need players to come in, or players that have already been there and produce numbers that are similar.
Yeah.
To kind of take us forward. And Swifty's done that. He's He's got unbelievable quality. His free kick against Peterborough showed that. Unbelievable, right in front of me that was. But he's a Premier League player. I think he can easily go there, and for a lower Premier League side, he can go.
Yeah, he's certainly stepped up this season. I think 7 goals already from midfield is outstanding, really.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive, but he has been linked away at the Premier League in recent times, but struggled with injury as well. I'm hoping for Reading's sake that he don't struggle with injury anymore, because when he does hit that form, he is fantastic and probably one of the better players in the division in his position.
I would go as far as saying when he's on his day, I don't think there is anyone better in this league than him. When he's on form, and against QPR, when he got his hat-trick, games like that, he single-handedly nearly got us all 3 points that game.
Yeah, so what would you say? It's fair to say that Swift has kind of carried Reading on his back this season.
Yeah, I think it would be fair. And one thing we need now is other players to step up and show that we don't just need John Swift to win a game. And fortunately, Ovi Ejaria did that on Saturday.
Yeah, so moving on, Ejaria is the next player I was going to ask you about. A brace last time out against Fulham in a 2-1 away win. I've just got down and noted down. Unbelievable touch for that second goal on the swivel.
That second was unreal.
Yeah.
One of the best away days I've seen. We've gone there and we've beat them in their own backyard. It was brilliant. He's a quality player.
It's one of those, I think, a proper championship away performance where you go to one of the better sides of the division, score your goals and take your chances, and ride your luck a little bit. Fulham did have chances, but that's what makes the division.
And you know, we got the points in the end, and that's all that matters. We read out luck, and we were clinical, and Ejaria was clinical. And on his day, he is one of the best players in the league as well. And there is not a better dribbler in the league.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I think he's very unorthodox in his style. He's a very tall lad, but he's so good with his feet, so technically gifted, I think.
He's unbelievable with the ball at his feet. When you watch him live and some of the things he does, how he keeps the ball, and he has 3 players around him, and you'll think, how's he going to get out of this? And he just moves his way out. He manipulates the ball. He's an unbelievable player to watch. But one thing I think most fans wanted from him was more goals, more assists. Because if he gets more consistency and a little bit more to his game, again, I don't see why he shouldn't be a Premier League player.
Yeah, I think it's quite similar at the moment with us, and we have a player, Marcus Tavernier, who is kind of sparked a bit of debate. And I said on Twitter last week that he's very overrated by Boro fans, pretty much simply because those underlying numbers are great, but the output in terms of goals and assists isn't there at this current time. But if those goals and assists improve, he again could be what everyone wants to be, really. So I think it's the same with Ejaria as well.
Yeah, I think Tavernier is someone, especially we need to look out for on Saturday, because I've seen bits about him, and obviously he got that goal on, was it Saturday?
Yeah, got the goal Saturday. Yeah,
he's a good player. I do like him.
Yeah, he's very good at cutting in off that right hand side onto his left foot. But we may have a bit of an issue with injuries at the moment. We've got a lot of players out in the fullback positions. We've got Dijksteel out, Ballers out, and those are the only 2 that we've really got that can cover in there at the moment. And when Dijksteel was subbed off at home to Blackpool on Saturday, Tavernier dropped in and played it right back. So if he
Tavernier, then
it must be, yeah. There you go, 1v1 in that on that left side. But
Yeah,
I've got just one last player, which is almost like a bit of a jokey player for me. Baba Rahman. We always have a laugh on this page about Baba Rahman. He's consistently linked with Boro almost every transfer window, and we have got severe left back problems at the minute. We've been looking for a left-sided defender all summer and haven't been able to get one in, and now Boro's out injured. So how's he been at Reading so far?
He started well, I think. We didn't have obviously a senior left back. We started with McIntyre at fullback. He got injured, so Yeardom, our right back, shifted over to left back. So he was needed. He looks to be a good player, decent technically, decent defender. So I think he'll be a good left back for this league.
Yeah, just filling in that. Yeah, I think in there you don't even need someone especially fantastic. You just need someone who's half decent on the left side.
Yeah, he whipped in against QPR on his debut. He whipped in around 3 brilliant balls, and Puskas should have scored off one of them. But he's got decent technical ability. He's good with it at his feet, and defensively, I think he's quite good. He wins his tackles, he wins his headers and stuff. He's a good player. I like him.
Well, Boro must be missing out at the minute then, because we're seriously struggling. But yeah, so apart from Tavernier, who we've just mentioned there, is there anyone that you look at in the Boro side and think we need to be wary of them?
One player I did like, and we were linked with him back a couple of years ago. Well, quite a few years ago, Paddy Mcnair, but I don't know if he's injured or not.
Yeah, he's
injured.
Yeah, I think he's not fit. He was meant to be playing against Coventry last weekend in a back 3 for us. But pulled out in the warm-up, and we haven't seen him since. So I think he'll probably be missing out of this game, which is unfortunate because we do need some pace in that back line as well, because we have been struggling with Hall and Fry in there. But yeah, McNair, I think he'll be missing out, unfortunately. So,
I do like him. He's a good player. Got a good set piece on him as well.
He does, yeah. I think you'll be in the clear. You'll be in the clear this weekend, which is decent. But
you've got Ikpeazu up front as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a target man, a bully.
Yeah, he is.
He was on our books as a youngster, I want to say.
Yeah.
Quite a few years ago. But I like him as well. I wouldn't have minded him with us.
Yeah, I think Ikpeazu he'll probably come off the bench with half an hour to go now. In recent weeks, that's kind of been what's signalled by Neil Warnock. He's got his proper number 9 now in Andras Spara, who has scored one in the week against Forest last week. And Ikpeazu comes on with sort of 20 minutes to go to try and smash defenders about, but he is a real unit. He's an absolute battering ram.
Yeah, I do like him. And if we don't have either Scott Dan or Morrison fit, that could be my worry.
Yeah, and that's what I'm just about to get onto there with the issue that we've heard from journalists down there in Reading. There seems to be no fit centre halves.
No.
So I'd just like to ask, how do you think, or would you like to see Reading line up against Boro, especially with that news?
So the centre-back problem, we started out with all 4 fit: McIntyre, Holmes, Moore, Morrison. Brought in Scott Dan as well. McIntyre obviously is out for 3 months after impact. I think he could have broke his foot, maybe against Cov. Holmes sprained his ankle at the weekend, Moore something similar. And Morrison has picked up a knee injury, obviously, and Scott Dan is unfit. So we've got a real issue because Josh Laurent had to fill in at centre-half against Fulham, but he was sensational. And I don't think he's ever played there in his life, but he was brilliant. But I think on Saturday, I'd like us to line up with Southwood in goal, Yeardom at right back, and then 2 centre-halves. depends. If Morrison and Dan are fit, I'd go with them two. If neither are fit, I'd go with our youngster Stickland and Josh Laurent.
Yeah.
Baba Rahman at left back, and then I'd like to see Danny Drinkwater playing that holding role with Tom Deli Bashiri alongside him. And then we have Halilovic, Ajaria, Swift. And it would be harsh to drop Hoylett, but I would like to see Puskas up top again.
Do you reckon he could break his duck against Boro?
I think that past week, he's played well, and he's just missing that goal. It doesn't matter how it goes in for him, he just needs it. And if he needs it, if he gets it, I think he'll go on a bit of a run. But
we had a Coventry opposition preview with Chris, my podcast partner, and a Coventry fan called Alex. And Alex had mentioned Martin Waghorn was in a bit of a spell at Coventry where he was playing really well but hadn't got that goal yet. And we played Coventry at the on that weekend, and he scored.
Yeah.
So now you've said Puskas.
Because against QPR and Peterborough, he was a good player. He got his assist against Peterborough. He held the ball up well. He gave defenders something to think about. He was pulling them out. So hopefully, it doesn't matter how it goes in for him, whether he knows about it or not, he just needs a goal.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets it, because he's been playing better. He's performed better.
It'd just be typical for him to get that goal now. But yeah, finally, just to wrap it up now, I'd just like to give you to give me your score prediction for Saturday.
So
give us your head and your heart.
Head says if Morrison and Dan are fit, or either one of them's fit, we win the game. But if they're not, that's my worry. And with Ikpeazu up against the young centre half in Stickland potentially, that's a big worry. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 Reading.
2-1 Reading. What do you reckon Puskas will score?
Puskas will score, and you know what? Baba Rahman.
Oh, God. I'll say for me, I think I'd go I'd take a 1-1, but I'm going to say Boro sneak at 1-0.
That wouldn't surprise me. Not at all.
Wouldn't
surprise me. After stunning week you've had, I feel we'll have the better of the game. Then you'll go and nick it Ikpeazu.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you'll bully our centre halves, and
that'd be perfect for us. But yeah, so we'll just wrap it up now. So thank you, Louis, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll put your links in the description of the YouTube. So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone, and subscribe to the Boropolis YouTube channel.